So I want you to just picture this for a second.
Okay.
It's August 1965, and you've got this solitary 69-year-old Indian man. He's stepping onto a rusty cargo ship in Calcutta, the Jaladuta, and it's headed for New York.
And he has nothing. I mean, no corporate backing, no church, nothing.
Exactly. He's got about 40 rupees, a small suitcase, and these three, humble cotton-stitched books. That's it. That's his entire mission in his hands.
And that image, that is the literal genesis moment of the entire Hare Krishna movement. So today we're doing a deep dive into the official auction prospectus for those exact 3 books.
This is the first edition, 3-volume set of the Srimad-Bhagavatam Canto 1, the Delhi print run, before ISKCON even existed.
And our sources are putting the minimum reserve price at a staggering $1 million.
$1 million. So our mission today is pretty straightforward. We want to get beyond just, a simple collector's price tag. We need to unpack the history, the legal trail, everything that elevates these books into what they're called, foundational spiritual artifacts.
Right. Why $1 million?
Yeah.
It's about provenance, sure, but it's also about purpose. This isn't just old paper. We're talking about the spiritual seed that was physically carried to the West.
Okay, so let's unpack that history first. Because the valuation makes no sense without understanding the mandate behind these books. The author is Srila Prabhupada,
Recognized as one of the most significant Vedic teachers of the 20th century. But this mission, it didn't just come out of nowhere.
Right, it started decades earlier.
Decades. The prospectus really highlights this divine command he got from his own spiritual master back in 1922. The instruction was very clear.
What was it?
Preach Krishna consciousness in the English language.
So these 3 volumes we're looking at, they're not just some translation project. They are the tangible fulfillment of that command.
You could almost call them a kind of spiritual technology, engineered to carry this incredibly complex theology across cultures.
And the conditions they were created in, that's a huge part of the story. It gives them this incredible emotional weight. This was Delhi between 1962 and 65.
Yeah, and the sources paint a picture of just intense austerity.
He was in his late 60s, working pretty much alone, often in poverty. We are not talking about a modern publishing house.
Oh, not at all. No editors, no distribution teams, no institutional support. Think about the labor involved. He did everything himself.
Everything. The translation, the commentary.
Everything. Translation from Sanskrit, writing these huge commentaries, then going out to find donations for paper and ink, coordinating the typesetting, proofreading, the manual binding. He was the author, the editor, the fundraiser, all of it.
I mean, I can just see him, carrying these heavy pages across Delhi, trying to scrape together enough money to pay the printer.
And that's why this set is foundational. It came before ISKCON. It's the literary blueprint that actually led to the society. Yeah. So the value is really rooted in that immense personal sacrifice.
It's the difference between a collector's item and what you called a foundational artifact. It embodies that solitary determination before any of the success came.
Exactly. Before anyone in the West even knew who he was.
Okay, let's pivot to the books as physical objects. Why are these specific 3 volumes so incredibly rare? Rarity is always the first pillar for a price tag like this.
And the rarity here is it's a direct result of the technology they had in Old Delhi back then. I mean, the printing was primitive.
What does that mean, primitive?
They were using PowerPress machines, but the text itself was set by hand with metal type. You had to place every single letter, one at a time, for hundreds and hundreds of pages.
That sounds grueling. It must have meant the print run was tiny.
So small. The best estimates suggest only a few hundred complete sets were ever printed. And then you have to factor in the survival challenges.
Right. The prospectus mentions the climate, the humidity.
Oh, yeah. You've got monsoon, humidity, flooding, insects, damage in transit. And on top of that, these weren't books meant to sit on a shelf. The early followers who got them, they used them heavily.
They were working texts.
They were reference books, so they fell apart. Sets got separated in libraries, lost over time. The fact that this specific set survives 60 years later in what's described as very good condition, it's statistically miraculous.
But the history gets cemented by its journey. We have to talk about the Jaladuta.
The Jaladuta, August 1965. This is the emotional and historical heart of the whole story. He's 69, traveling alone for over a month on a cargo ship.
Not a cruise liner.
No. And these 3 volumes, along with, 40 rupees and a change of clothes, that was his entire world.
And the journey was just brutal. He wrote in his diary about being horribly seasick, but more than that, he had 2 heart attacks on the crossing.
2 heart attacks?
Yeah.
At sea. It just underscores the magnitude of what he felt he had to do. His diary from that time is so powerful.
What does it say?
He wrote, "My dear Lord Canna, surely you have some business here." It's like even while facing death, he's telling God that these books, this mission, must be for something.
And then he steps off the boat in Boston, September 1965, holding these very books. They're the physical link to that exact moment.
They are the last tangible relics of what you could call the pre-manifestation phase. Before the temples, before any followers, there were just these 3 books on the dockside.
Okay, let's move to maybe the most critical part of this valuation, the provenance, the legal integrity. For $1 million price tag, that chain of custody has to be absolutely airtight.
And this is where the prospectus gets really, really specific. It moves from history to legal documentation. The chain is verified, it's continuous.
So we have the Delhi printing, the Jaladuta transport, and then early distribution in the U.S.
Right, and we know that one of these early sets ended up at Kent State University in Ohio.
Okay, and this is where the current seller comes in. A man named Mark Bradley, or Jadavakarya does.
Correct. So the key legal event happens in 1994. He discovers these volumes and immediately understands their historical importance. But the question was, how do you establish clear legal ownership?
Yeah, wait a minute. Why would a university library just give away a historical artifact? That seems to go against their whole purpose.
That is the exact question the prospectus had to answer. And it's crucial. The volumes weren't sold. It was a transfer.
A transfer? How?
The custodian approached the university and offered them a brand new, complete, modern edition of the entire Srimad-Bhagavatam, a full replacement set.
Ah, okay. So the library gets a fully usable, modern academic resource.
Exactly, in exchange for 3 very old, very fragile books that were, to them, just part of their general collection from decades ago.
So the library accepted the swap.
They accepted the modern replacement, they officially closed the circulation record for the old set, and they documented the transfer of possession. That piece of paper is what creates the clear legal chain of custody that's been continuous now for 31 years.
That's fascinating. It turns what could be a murky legal area into a completely clear title. But let's get back to the money. How do you justify comparing a 1960s printed book to, say, a medieval manuscript?
You do it with comparative analysis.
Yeah.
You position it not just as literature, but as a diaspora milestone artifact.
You mean?
Meaning you compare it to other items that are the non-negotiable physical link to a founder or a major religious migration.
Like what are the comparisons?
Well, take a single leaf from a Gutenberg Bible, just 1 page. Those can sell for anywhere between $150,000 to $500,000.
For 1 page.
For 1 page. And here we have a complete 3-volume work that was physically carried by the founder to start the mission. Or you compare it to other founder-carried religious manuscripts, which regularly go for $500,000 to $2 million at auction.
Okay, so when you put it in that context, $1 million minimum for a complete founder-carried set that launched a global movement, it starts to seem, well, almost reasonable.
It does, because this set pulls together several high-value traits. The prospectus boils it down to a 5-point rationale. First, unmatched historical significance. It's founder-carried. Can't beat that.
Second, extreme rarity. We covered that. Third, the verified provenance, which you just explained. Fourth is the museum quality preservation.
And the 5th point is the big one. Global cultural impact.
Right. No other printed object can claim that direct, critical link to the very start of the Hare Krishna movement in the West. It's the artifact of that cultural exchange.
So the monetary value comes from its status as an irrefutable historical marker, which raises the question of its future. Who buys this? Is it a sacred relic or an academic piece?
Well, who is the target?
The prospectus suggests the demand is actually quite broad. It appeals to 4 different groups. First, obviously, are Vaishnava organizations like ISKCON. For them, it's the ultimate relic.
Sure, then I'd guess high-net-worth Hindu philanthropists.
Exactly. People who want to preserve major artifacts of their cultural history. But then you have the whole academic market.
University special collections.
Absolutely. Departments of religion or South Asian studies and major museums that are building out their collections on religious migration. For a historian of South Asian migration, this set is irreplaceable. It marks the moment a major religious system took root in America in 1965.
And these are his earliest English renderings of this theology, written before he even knew who his audience would be.
Which makes them priceless for literary studies. The seller actually frames this whole thing not as a sale, but as a transfer of sacred stewardship.
Looking for a guardian, not just a buyer.
Precisely. someone who gets the spiritual weight as much as the market value. The goal is long-term preservation for the scholars and devotees of the future. It's a responsibility.
Wow. I mean, this whole deep dive really reframes how you look at a religious artifact. You have these 3 humble books printed under extreme austerity.
Carried by one solitary man across an ocean.
And they become the seed for a movement that grows into temples on 6 continents, affecting millions of people.
And it all rests on the faith that got those books across the Atlantic. That diary quote from the Jaladuta, "Surely you have some business here." It's like he knew these books were instruments for something bigger.
So what's the final thought for us to take away here?
It forces you to really reflect on the power we embed in physical objects. And it challenges you to think about what makes something priceless. How often does the most humble, manually produced thing, made in poverty, become the million-dollar relic of a world-changing event? This set is the final, tangible, physical link to that one solitary moment. A cultural transformation began, and now it's just waiting for its next guardian.